Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's just James, and I'm just trying to change your perspective. Today I want to talk about a new book that came out called The Case Against Masks, and whether or not the science is actually as settled as people like to yell that it is. So the book was written by Dr. Judy Mikovits. I've talked about her on this channel before. I think she wrote a really good book. It was short. The Case Against Masks. 10 reasons why mask use should be limited. We can always find somebody to agree with us, but you have to decide for yourself and have at least a good enough knowledge for yourself. So let's just go through some of the stuff she talks about in this book, and you can decide for yourself, okay? So I'm just going to go through one chapter today, and it just hits on the fact that oxygen is good for us and carbon dioxide is bad for us. We know this. This is not questionable. Okay, so we breathe in 21% oxygen, 0.04% CO2. We breathe out 16% oxygen and 4% CO2. So 100 times more CO2 is breathed out as is what is brought in. According to health.com, when you exceed 10% CO2 in the atmosphere, it becomes dangerous. So if we're already at 4% and our masks are holding in more, it doesn't take a genius to question how much CO2 is being built up in that mask and therefore being built up in our bodies. A National Institute of Health warning on CO2 says that inhaling high levels of CO2 can cause headaches, dizziness, double vision, and inability to concentrate, and ringing in our ears. There was also a long letter posted. This was back in April 2020. It's written by 4 researchers who basically were calling into question the science of masks. They said a fraction of carbon dioxide previously exhaled is inhaled at each respiratory cycle. This causes breathlessness in COPD patients and increases their respiratory rate and more CO2 consumption. COPD patients already retain CO2. This is the whole concern with them. People are so afraid, though, that they wear them anyway, and that's making their problem significantly worse. Masks do restrict airflow to some extent or another. It depends on the mask that you wear. But the thing about masks that people don't understand is that the better it is at protecting you from inhaling harmful things, the worse it is at allowing you to breathe in oxygen. It's restricting your oxygen flow. So, and if it allows you to breathe oxygen, it's not really effective and it's kind of pointless for you to breathe. Our immune system's response to any sort of danger or pathogen is to immediately get that thing out of our body as quickly as possible. And when you have a mask there, so now we're keeping that waste close to us. That is why, if you'll notice, everybody is broke out. Every time I wear a mask, I break out. I never break out. It's because you're breathing out waste and then you're sticking it to your face. Our innate immune system's efficacy is highly, highly dependent on our viral load. So if you don't understand viral load, think about it like this. We can all handle a certain amount of sugar, but if you just constantly dump sugar in your body eventually is going to become diabetic. You're not going to be able to manage the sugar that you have. You get overrun. This was a big deal at the beginning of the pandemic because medical workers were working such long hours and they weren't taking breaks, and unfortunately just that alone is a heavy stressor on your body and is reducing your immune system. And then you couple that with the fact that they're surrounded by the virus all day. There's only so much a body can take before it needs a break. And so they just get overloaded. Their immune system gets overloaded. The bad exceeds the good and you become sick. And let me add here that I do think that there is something to be said about the psychology behind that and the mental, your mental process behind that, because I know I worked at a nursing home years ago. We had a stomach virus going around and everybody was sick. Most of the residents were sick. The staff started getting it and were dropping like flies. And I was working over because there was nobody else to do it. And I started to feel nauseous. And I thought, oh no, I'm getting it. And I shifted that thought and said, wait a minute, I've been taking care of sick people who've been throwing up all night. and I'm touching it, it's unavoidable at this point. And I had the thought of, maybe I'm just fighting it off, and that is why I'm nauseous, and it's not actually because I'm getting it, but because I'm fighting it off. Now, understand that those are the exact same thing. Either way, the virus is in my body. Either the virus is in my body and I'm getting sick, or the virus is in my body and I'm fighting it off. The way that we think about things really, really has an impact on our healing. And so I think it's important to keep that in mind. That if you think that you're going to get this virus, and if you're afraid of it, and once you get the slightest symptom, you concede that, oh, I've got it, this must be it. It affects how your body reacts to things. So if face masks create a humid environment, and they do, whether it's just from breathing over time, or if you start sweating, and they're conserving PPE, which is so gross. I'm sorry, but it is. Bacteria thrives in warm, dark, moist environments. Your mouth is a warm, dark, moist environment. You've just extended that out to your face, which again is why you're getting people breaking out. And this is the thing that I'm frustrated with, is because we're all so worried about this one virus. Our entire world is covered in viruses and bacteria and fungi and all kinds of germs. They're everywhere. So either learn about them and realize there's something to be done to protect ourselves, or hide in your closet in your basement forever. Frankly, hiding in your closet or in the basement forever is going to kill you either way. Something's going to kill you. So you need to understand how to protect yourself. It's not up to the government to protect you. It's not up to anybody else to protect you. Understand how your body works and recognize that we are intelligently designed, and that we have the ability to protect ourselves. We have the ability to think for ourselves. So again, our immune system was designed to fight off infection, to get rid of whatever it is that got into our bodies that is upsetting us. Our body has a tolerance to things, and once it exceeds that and it feels like it can't handle it anymore, it has to react. Our reaction time is dependent on our stressors. What stressors do we have? I have a video, if you want to go watch it, it's called How to Survive COVID-19, and it talks about the different stressors in the body, chemical, physical, and emotional stressors, and what they are, and the fact that really our stress level is everything. Chemical, physical, and emotional stressors covers basically everything that causes disease. And you have to recognize your stressors and be responsible for them, okay? A lack of oxygen is a stressor to your body. An increased level of CO2 is a stressor on your body. Living in a fearful state, feeling like there's just tension at every turn, feeling afraid of a virus that you can't protect your children from, that you can't protect yourself from, that your guns can't protect you from, that your alarm system can't protect you from, that is killing our entire population. I don't like to get into statistics because I don't trust any of the numbers. What I trust is my immune system, the function and design of the immune system, and how to make it better. Boosting your immune system and lowering your stressors are the only two things that matter when it comes to illness of any kind. Those two things are crucial. We can talk about medicine. There are certainly instances where people need medications, but how much medication and for how long is highly dependent on those two things. Your stress level, your chemical, physical, and emotional stressors, and how much you're protecting your immune system. Are you feeding into it, or are you taking away from it? Are you harming it or damaging it? The conclusion of the University of College London letter that was posted in the British Medical Journal said that it is necessary to quantify the complex interactions that may well be operating between positive and negative effects of wearing surgical masks at population level. It is not time to act without evidence. Sweden never wore masks. They never masked up. They did as a personal choice, but it was never required. They never banned people from shopping at their store because they weren't wearing masks. They just practiced common sense and did what we've done forever, which is, quarantine the sick and boost our immune systems and washing your hands, for heaven's sake. So the COVID-19 pandemic requires our very best thinking, free of fear and anger. Let me say that again. Free of fear and anger. Well-intentioned people can make terrible mistakes. We need to take the emotion out of it. We need to understand that we all want the same thing. We all want a healthy country. We all want to be left alone and to live our best life. At the end of the day, we have to decide for ourselves what to think and how to think and what we believe. Our immune system is everything. Take care of it and you won't need anything else. So for now, I'm just James and I'm just trying to change your perspective. I hope that you guys have a wonderful week and I will talk to you later.